heard mixed reviews about cruises. Some say it's a depressing floating cafeteria for people who've given up on their life, and others say it's a utopia where you can just turn off your brain and have a good time. I wanted to experience this for myself. We started off with the boarding process, which did feel like we were cattle being ushered onto a spaceship. We were just overwhelmed by the scale and quality of this thing. It was like Noah's Ark, but for animals with disposable income. The whole thing felt excessive right away, but it was our honeymoon, so we decided to just let ourselves enjoy it. The very first thing we were blown away with was the room itself.
We have just checked in to our stateroom, so we're gonna give you a little tour, starting with this beautiful full-length mirror to my right by the door entrance, so you can do your little fit check. Right when you walk into your right is the washroom. We have a standing shower, pretty spacious. I mean, considering we're on a boat, really nice, really clean. A his and hers closet on either side, very spacious, which is great because I brought a lot of options. Wow, so much storage. Really nice use of the vertical space. There's some little cubbies at the side too that are like nightstands. It's very good use of space. So there's some additional drawers here as well. Then we got a little lounge couch for you to chill and hang out before you head down for dinner. More storage in front of me, some more drawers, a little desk, beautiful mirror, and then the best part is we got an ocean view balcony. Wow. So nice. I mean, we haven't departed yet, so there's not a whole lot to see. We can sit here, lounge here, also do a pre-drink, also do some morning breakfast. Real nice. And this is where we're staying for the next 10 nights.
On our first day, we mainly just explored the ship. I still couldn't tell if this was a floating mall or a resort, or just a giant Chuck E. Cheese for adults, but it was cool. This thing was so big, I felt like we were mice in some kind of science experiment. We got comfortable and we found a couple areas to chill in. This ship is ginormous, so if you get bored at one part of the ship, you can just make the journey to the other side and it feels like you're in a different part of town. We finished up exploring by having a drink and then some food at this Mexican spot that was really good. Then we went back up to our room.
So this is my closet on my side of the bed. Pretty modest. I mean, it is a ship. It's not infinite space. And you'd think each side of the bed has the same closet, but you would be wrong because this is Julia's closet.
No, I think all the women get the bigger closet.
The people on the cruise next to us were cheering us on and wishing us good luck, which I assume is part of some sort of unspoken cruise code. I was just hoping we don't get Titanicked. We had a full day of sailing ahead of us, so there wasn't much to do but get dressed up and party. I quickly made friends with these two bartender robots. They can make you a drink as strong as you like. Right off the bat, this was an ideal situation, like a completely silent Uber driver. And yeah, what the robots lacked in finesse, they made up in generosity and personality. The robots and I quickly formed a bond and I became a regular at this station. We then went back up to our room to hang out before heading back out on the town. The ship has some nice venues like this jazz bar and even a nightclub where people would later make their families regret bringing them. While there were a few young people on this cruise, we were definitely amongst the younger demographic, which may be an early sign that the cruise life is not for us yet. Our second day on the ship, we got settled in and we kept exploring. Even though we were technically not out in international waters, it did feel like the rules of the regular world did not apply here. It still didn't fully dawn on me that we were in this large lunchbox just moving through the sea, but it was all very interesting. Also, I gotta say, having a room with a balcony was definitely worth it because we could chill outside without having to go to the common patio areas. That night, the cruise was hosting a kickoff party at the music hall, and we decided to venture out to get a first-hand look at all the different life forms on this ship.
That was all the millennials in the crowd. that Andre? Oh, for sure. Yeah. Check me out. It's still Dre Day, AK. Though I've grown a lot, can't keep it home a lot. Cause when I frequent the spots that I'm known to rock, you hear the bass from the truck when I'm on the block.
I want to say we just got pizza at a place. We just walked out with the pizza. It felt like we were stealing.
The night ended in the best way possible, with 3 a.m. pizza. This began our tradition of smuggling snacks back to the room like the hamsters we were. I'll say it again, this ship is the size of several city blocks, so depending on where your cabin is, it can be a very long and hangry walk back to the room. We kicked off day 3 by trying out the breakfast buffet for the first time. This is also the first day of the cruise where we could port and step off to explore. Today we were in Chania, Greece. Chania was a mix of charming streets, knockoff gift shops, and buildings that looked like they were recently in a war. It had a lot of character in general, and the bus tour had some great sights. We kind of knew what we were getting into with a cruise, so this type of tour was to be expected. When you normally travel, you're obviously free to plan your own adventure, but we were on our honeymoon and we didn't want to use our brain, so what we got instead was more like a theme park ride. Still, we ended up finding a great local souvlaki shop run by these 2 older guys, which felt like a hidden gem away from the touristy area. We spent the rest of the afternoon just kind of walking around town and admiring the historical sites and local wildlife. It was time to head back to the ship, and you already know where we went first. Tonight was a formal night on the ship, so we suited up and we started making moves. There are different activities to do, like play pool in the music hall, skee ball in the sports area, and even stuff like bumper cars, amongst other things. Beyond games, the cruise had different events on. Tonight was karaoke night. Given we are a captive audience in the middle of the sea, Julia decided it was time to get involved, and she did this amazing cover of Part of Your World from The Little Mermaid.
Toronto.
Hey, Toronto!
Toronto! Up where they walk, up where they run, up where they stay all day in the sun, wandering free. Wish I could be part of our world.
Julia's performance worked up an appetite, so it was time to cram several different cuisines onto a single plate over at the buffet area. If you saw us at the buffet that night, you'd think we've never had food before, but in reality, we were just so excited about all the different options, we just didn't know how to moderate our food. We still finished everything, it was great, and we dealt with the stomach consequences later. The next day we woke up in Santorini, still in Greece. It was time to fuel up with another gluttonous breakfast before we head out for the day. Part of the magic of traveling is discovering new places that millions of other people also happen to be interested in. So this results in lines as far as the eye can see. Just another learning experience that comes with traveling on a cruise. After a bunch of exploring, we popped into this neat looking patio.
We got 2 mimosas for 10 euros each to essentially rent the place out to ourselves. There's no one else here.
Yeah.
We're sitting by the pool, which gives you like the most beautiful view of the landscape and also of all the tourists.
It's nice, actually, a nice chill spot. We said we were not gonna drink today, but like, None of what I said last night meant anything.
Day
so
drinking doesn't count.
It does. It affects a different part of your liver.
Yeah.
So it's like scientifically different. So we're probably just gonna walk around a little more, look at other spots, maybe chill at another patio, get a snack. We're gonna take a mule back down. I hope the mules get paid. Can we tip the mule by buying it a carrot?
Yeah.
Can we pet it? Can the mule be rewarded somehow?
Yeah. How can there be equal compensation for the
For
actual
staff?
workers?
Can yeah. We could slip the mule €5, something, you
Yeah.
know? But everyone's working out here, except for us.
After the day trip was over, we went back to the ship, did some editing, vibed out. Before you know it, it was time to see my man again. Eventually, all that lounging around really made us hungry, so you know what the next thing was. We closed out the day with a traditional dessert back in our room. Today we were in Athens, the capital of Greece. I was genuinely surprised how dense Athens was because up until now I've only seen it in like touristy pictures. We took a bus up to the Parthenon and other historic sites. As usual, for every Instagram tourist place, there is a Walking Dead horde of people just like us. To get away from the crowds, we ended up leaving the main trail just to explore. Right on cue, we stumbled on another very nice, vibed out patio that was mostly empty. The view was amazing and the cider really hit the spot. We didn't want to take a chance with the touristy food, so we looked up what Euro spots were considered the best in the area. This is the spot we found. There was a bit of a wait, but it was worth it. We agreed it was one of the best Euros we've ever had, and I've had some great Euros in Toronto's Greek town. Back on the ship, we slipped into a comfortable routine of exploring by day and chilling by night. It was a nice groove to be in that I knew I would miss once we were back to the nightmarish existence that is a regular working life. Anyway, we killed some great food and dessert, and then we had just enough energy to make it back to our room and collapse in exhaustion. The cruise life ain't easy, but somebody gotta do it. Today we pulled up in Rhodes, a small tourist town with more cats than actual Greeks. It was a nice walkable area with fascinating architecture and plenty of patios and shops. The whole place felt like Hogwarts meets Disneyland. What a time to be alive. Overall, we had a laid-back day of walking around before returning to our safe ship where we can be degenerates for another evening. Today our trip moved on from Greece and we were now in Kusadasi in Turkey. This place is known for the ruins of Ephesus, and also they have this carpet cartel that will vaguely threaten you to purchase a $2,000 rug. We bought this guided tour through the ruins and we learned a lot. Looking at these ancient structures made me think just how crazy it must have been to build back in the day, and how I can barely assemble an IKEA cabinet without taking breaks. I am extremely impressed. Relaxing is hard work, and we had to pace ourselves. We ended up just having a chill evening, and for food, it was Caribbean night at the buffet. Holy heck was it good. Another successful day in the books. Today our ship backtracked back to Greece and we pulled up in Mykonos. The real adventure was back on the ship, because we booked dinner at Royal Caribbean's teppanyaki restaurant. This might be lame to people who've done it a million times, but I've never been to a teppanyaki place, so I felt like a kid at a magic show. The beer really helped suspend my disbelief. The rest of the night on the ship was just vibing around and then catching this amazing show at the theater from living legend Tony Tillman. We started off back in Italy where we started, this time in Naples.
Alright, this is what our cruise room looks like after 9 days. Not as nice as when you first saw it.
On the ship, today's brunch was different. It was a tasting menu put on by Royal Caribbean. Think what you want about cruises, but I gotta admit, they don't fuck around when it comes to food. They know food is the cornerstone of every experience and they absolutely killed it. First we had this unique and refreshing appetizer, then we had the softest and tastiest bread I've ever had in my life. Next we had the tuna tartare. This should be illegal. Like, what do they put in this shit? 10 out of 10. This was followed by the best risotto I've ever had, and they closed it off with an amazing steak and dessert. It was all so good, I was uncomfortable. Like, I felt like we were being treated to our final meal before we got executed. Afterwards, we went on this giant crane thing on top of the ship that goes up so you can get a 360 view of the city. Finally, it was time to explore Naples. I've heard a lot about Naples and I knew it was the birthplace of pizza, which is my favorite food. So we set out to walk around the city and to try to find a pizza worthy of the Naples reputation. Okay, we finally found the pizza with the help of Google Maps. It was tucked away on a less busy street, and this place clearly knew their pizza. I'm not even exaggerating for the video, this was the best pizza we've had up until this point in life. And our only regret is that we didn't get two. Project Pizza was a success. The final day, it was time to cruise back to our original port near Rome.
This is the shitty part, having to pack. I was hoping they'd let us stay maybe like another year.
Our next trip we would definitely want to plan and go off the beaten path, but I can see the benefits of having everything planned out and done for you, especially if you're tired and you just want to disable your brain for a few days and have a good time.